Hi everybody, it's Dina and I'm back today with a unboxing tutorial. Well, it'll be both an unboxing and a tutorial. So this one is going to be for the SoftFlex company. I recently made a purchase, as you can see, of some of their items, and so I wanted to do an unboxing of them and do a tutorial on at the end of it. I'll probably be making a necklace out of some of this package of beads that are in here, and probably use some of the wire that's in here too, so we'll go through that here in a little bit. So for my purchase that I made this month, I did buy the star-crossed lovers, the bead mix that came in the kit that was released in the end of January. I actually purchased this back in the beginning of January, if I remember correctly, and I got overly excited, opened it up, and designed with it and did a couple of pairs of earrings and everything, which I'll probably show you here shortly too, so that way you can get some more ideas as well. But I got overly excited and opened it up without talking to SoftFlex first to know when I can release videos on those designs, elements, and everything. So now that I have talked to SoftFlex, I know what days that I can release everything, so now I'm starting. So I got another one of these because I did like the mix of that came in the Star-Crossed Lovers kit, so I did like this mix, so I went ahead and got another one of those, so that way I can use more beads to be able to create a necklace design. So we'll do that here in a little bit. I did purchase also this trio of their wire. They have all sorts of different colors of wire in the medium size. And this is the 0.019 inch diameter size of wire, and it's the 49 strand. So very flexible, very nice to use in different mediums as far as necklaces or bracelets. You can even use them in earrings for different things and stuff like that. So I went ahead and got a trio because I'm trying to get my stock increased of the different colors. I bought a trio a couple of months ago, I think it was back in December, of, I think it was a blue, the cream, and a brown color. And I really liked that combination. So I wanted to get another trio this time, but something that would go along with the Star-Crossed Lovers. So I went ahead and got the, what is this one? That is the garnet, the black onyx, and the pink tourmaline colors. So we'll get that out here in a second, I'll show you that. And then with my purchase, which I also did get the new kit that's coming out at the end of this month. It'll be released on February 26th at 3 p.m. Pacific time and 6 p.m. Eastern time. So stay tuned for that. After the 26th, my video will probably go up on the 27th, and I'll show you the contents of that and do a video, at least one video, probably multiples, with this kit as well. Well, with the purchase, I was able to get this strand for free. They were running, SoftFlex was running a special at the time that after you spent a certain amount of money, then you can get this strand of beads that goes along with the double rainbow design kit that I showed you just a second ago. It goes along with that. I was able to get that for free. So we will unbox this part with the kit, so you'll see that later in the month, as well as some design elements. So I will get these bags open to get away from all the glare that you see from my lighting. I'll get these bags unopened. We'll see all the different components of this guy, and then I'll show you a little bit up close, a little bit better on the colors of this, and then we'll get started on our necklace. So meet me back in a second. Okay, so I'm back. So I've got the wire out first, and to show you the different colors and everything. So again, it was the garnet, the black onyx, and the pink tourmaline. So the garnet color is red, as you would think, but it's really kind of cool. I love that color red because it's like a deep red. It almost looks more like a brick red in a way, but it's a really neat color red. I like that color. It's a very neutral color red also. This is the black onyx. Obviously it's going to be black, so not too much to say about that color. And then this color is the pink tourmaline, which looks like it would kind of go with my bead mat a little bit. That one and the red go with my bead mat pretty well. But anyways, so that one's the pink tourmaline. So those are the three colors that come in this little kit. So I'll put those off to the side. And then we'll get into our little bag of beads. So this is the part that I double ordered because I ordered some last month or earlier this month, and then I got overly excited and had to open it up and do some designs with it and everything. And then I realized, oh yeah, I haven't talked to SoftFlex yet about getting my videos up and running and things like that for them, and what if there's anything specific that they want me to do, and as far as timing and stuff like that. And as I'm talking to you, I'm just spacing out my beads so I can show them to you. And I finally did get in touch with them recently over the last few days, and you'll be seeing more videos from SoftFlex from me depending on when I make purchases. I will do my best to try to get the kits on a monthly basis, as long as finances and budget is good with that, because we all know how that budget can kind of inhibit us in certain ways and shapes and forms as to what we want and what we actually need. So with that being the case, as long as budget is good, I will be getting this on a monthly basis. So we'll see. I'll keep you all informed, obviously. I'll have more videos out as I purchase. And I'm almost done separating these guys out. This is something that's always really fun to do. I love getting different types of bead mixes and separating things out. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, by all means, because I know some people, it drives them crazy to do something like this. But for me, I like doing it. It's like I feel like I'm gonna turn over one bead and find something new. It's kind of what I feel like until you get to this point when you're done. Alrighty, so these are all the different types of beads that comes in that one mix. So this is pretty cool. I love it. Now these guys are like checkered little beads, and they're very lightweight. They feel like they're probably resin of some sort, but they're very lightweight, and they've got the one hole going through right there. So now you can see the hole. So very lightweight, easily used in earrings, which I will show you a pair of earrings here and probably in the next clip before we start our necklace. And this is the rose. And I'm kind of a sucker for roses, if you couldn't tell, because of my bead mat. This is the rose bead mat. But I'm kind of a sucker for roses. My mother and my grandmother had really good green thumbs. Apparently it did not pass on to me. I have a very black thumb when it comes to gardening. So seeing really nice roses and everything, this just reminds me of my mom and my grandmother and the different colors that they would always plant. My mom always loved yellow roses and other different colors too. My grandmother, her favorite rose color was more of the peach or the orange color. Me, I love white roses. I've always enjoyed just the purity color of the white rose. So that's always been my favorite. The other thing I have an affinity for is anything dealing with hearts, if you couldn't tell. I have little hearts on my fingers. So I've always, just as a little kid, when you're going through class and everything and you're doodling because you're paying attention, sure, yeah, you're paying attention in class, I would always just doodle different hearts, different shapes, different types, and then like put little designs inside the hearts and everything, and it was just something to pass the time whenever I got bored in class. So I love any type of hearts, so this was really exciting to get these which I kind of figured there was going to be some sort of hearts in here because it was star-crossed lovers, so I was hoping for hearts. So this one, you got 4 of this type of heart. It is faceted, as you can see, very sparkly. It's a gold color, and it has the hole going from the top of the heart down to the bottom of the heart down there. So that is 4 of those in that. Then you've got some spacers over here. These are, excuse me, these are kind of hefty. So, I mean, they're not too heavy, but they're heavier than some of the other spacers and everything. But it's the same type of design on both sides, kind of like that, just that dot design and everything, and then the hole goes through the center there of the bead. Then you have some of these. They're kind of like barrel beads, and they're red in color. You get, what was it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You got 10 of these in here, and they're like a dark red color, so it's really nice to go along with the rest of everything else in here. There's a few of them that look like there might be just slightly off in color, like this one looks a little bit darker than this one, but still, when you're doing designs, as long as you space those out and make it even, like these 3 look like they're a little bit different of a lot number when these beads were made and everything. These 3 right down here, they look a little bit lighter, almost like this color of the hearts here. And this one has like a deeper red to it. But you can still use these 3 beads in any type of design, just space them to make it look like you meant to do that. And then nobody's ever going to notice. So that's one tip for you. The other thing that was kind of neat are these bead caps that are shaped like a crown. I thought these were very unique, very different. I have not seen anything like this just yet out on the market. It's got a very, very nice wide hole. So we'll see me use this in a pair of earrings also here in the next segment. Then you get some rondelles. These are 2, 4, 6, 8. You get 8 of these. So these are just kind of almost that same lighter color. It's actually a little bit lighter than the red ones, the red barrel beads that we got. But these are the rondelles. They look like they're about a 4x6, somewhere around in there, size of rondelle. And you get some more faceted barrel type beads. These are a little bit more squared off on the edges and not so rounded or tipped like the red ones are. So they're more of kind of a rectangle shape. But they're still that barrel type, and so they're faceted on all sides on this one. And you get 2, 4, 6, 8 of those, and they're all in the black color. Here's my other hearts that I like in this one. So there's the heart one. I love how on some of the beads, because you see this on the other red ones that I have too, you can kind of see it here too, that there is just a little bit of a variance in how the bead was designed and how it was made, to where you can see a little bit of color changing, and it almost looks like somebody painted it on the inside. So they're very neat. They're very unique. So I really do like those. Those are really neat to design with. That will be used in the earring. Then you have some more bead caps. These are smaller than the other ones. You get 2, 4, 6, 8 of these. So you've got, it's like a little trilogy type bead cap where your hole is there in the center, but you can also use the loops around the edge as things to dangle off of also, which I'll show you a pair of earrings that I did with those. Let's see, where are we at? We have little spacer beads. You get 8 of these as well. These are in the antique brass color, and they're just cute little roses, but they're the same thing on both sides. And then the hole goes down the center of one of the petals and then comes out in between the petals on the other side. So you get 8 of those. You get 2, 4, 6, 8 of these. These are just some round beads. They're about 8mm round beads, very faceted. They're kind of almost like disco beads in a way, because they're very faceted, very sparkly. And it's more of an opaque red compared to some of these other ones are more of a transparent red. So this one's more opaque. And then for the last item, we get 6 of these guys. And these are white square beads. They look to have maybe a little bit of an AB finish on it, potentially. Every once in a while I see a different color flash. It could be just because of my lights and everything too. So, but it looks like it might have a little bit of an AB finish on these guys. And so that is that bead mix. So if you want to, you can come back after this and I will show you the earrings that I made out of it, and then we will start on our necklace. Okay, so I'm back and I'm going to show you the 3 pairs of earrings that I made with the Star-Crossed Lovers design kit. I'm just going to briefly show you how I made them. And there again, I do apologize because a lot of this stuff I'm not going to be able to remake again because I don't have all of everything left over to be able to do it again. So these guys I made, and they kind of remind me of the Queen of Hearts. So my daughter dressed up as the Queen of Hearts one year for Halloween, and it's one of those things that I kind of wish that she would dress up again as it so I can give her these earrings so she can wear them. But I did these. So I used everything that was from the kit. The only thing that was out of my stash was the head pin and then the jump ring up here. So everything else came in the kit. So I used a head pin and put one of the little small 3mm rondelle, fire polish beads that came in the package, not the one that I just unboxed, but the actual design kit, Star-Crossed Lovers design kit, the one that I got overly excited and opened really early. So that one came with that, and then here is one of those bead caps, those trilogy bead caps that have the 3 sides on it. And then I put one of the acrylic beads here. Then I used the crown bead cap, and then I just put the heart on top. And then all I did was just make a little simple loop with my what is that? Head pin. Made a simple loop with that. I went ahead and I decided to go ahead and add the jump ring. Sometimes I like it when things dangle and twist and turn, and sometimes it just doesn't twist as easily when you're using just the head pin or just a eye pin, whichever one you decide to use. Sometimes it doesn't twist and turn as easily, but this way it kind of dangles a little bit better for me. And I like the dangly parts. So that is my first pair of earrings that I made. The second pair of earrings is actually going to be the focus of the necklace that I'm going to make. So the, what are these called? Pinch beads that are around the edge of the rose. Those came in the Star-Crossed Lovers kit as well. And then we've got our rose. Again, I used another head pin, so you can see the bottom of the head pin down here, that I went through the rose, and I just made a simple little loop there. And I used 2 jump rings on this one to get it to where it had a little bit of leverage again, so it can kind of twist and turn on you. But all I did as far as to get the pinch beads around the edge is I just used a, I think it was the gray Wildfire 0.006 size thread, and I went through the bead, the rose bead first, and then came out and started to add a few of the pinch beads until I got back to the other side of the hole, which was right around here, because you can see where I burned my thread off right here. So right around here is where the hole is again, went back through the bead again and added pinch beads on this side. So I started off down here with like a stop bead, went through the rose bead, added a few pinch beads until I got back to the same side, went back through the rose bead again, added more pinch beads on this side, And then after I added that second side, I went through it about 2 or 3 more times, just depending on how many times that your thread needle can get through the beads without breaking them. And then I just tied it off into a knot, just went back to where I started and tied a knot and burned it off. And it just happened to be right around where my head pin was at. So it ended up being kind of nice. So we're going to actually make a necklace that goes along with this guy. Not using the exact beads because the pinch beads I think only have like 3 left, I think, from that. So we probably won't use the pinch beads in the necklace, but we have other options too. So now this one is the earring that I had mentioned in the unboxing that is using the bead cap down here. This is that Trilogy bead cap, but I have head pins hanging off those loops of that bead cap, as well as an eye pin in the center where the star charms that came in the original design kit hangs off in the center. So when it hangs, it looks something similar to that. I'll have to take pictures of these because it's not doing justice as to what it looks like, because the star actually hangs in the center. There we go. That kind of shows it a little bit better. Where you've got one of these hanging down the front, you've got the star in the center, and then you've got 2 more hanging down in the back. So I started off with that, so I've got the head pin here in the center, and then I just used eye pins for these 3 that are hanging down. I put my star on the head pin, on the loop of the head pin, and then I put the Trilogy bead cap here, and then these 2 guys, it's very similar to my first ones, where I used a crown and then a heart on top of it. But this is the artisan crown, and I think these were artisan too, if I remember right. But these are porcelain, if I remember right as well. I should have all that sitting in front of me, and I don't. So hopefully I'm saying the correct things for you. But I have those 2 sitting there, so it's a very similar fashion as the first pair of earrings. And then I just have just a ball post earring that I have from my stash that I used, and that was my 3rd pair of earrings. So those were the 3 pairs of earrings that I made with the Starcrust Lovers design kit, and I will meet you back in just a second, so that way we can get our list of supplies for the necklace and we'll start making that. See you back in a minute. Okay, so I am back. And I have everything out that I am going to need for the necklace portion. Now keep this in mind, I do have extra beads left over from when I actually bought the kit, like I said in previous clips. So I do have some extra beads compared to what I just unboxed at the very beginning of this video. With that being the case, if you want to do the same design as far as the necklace is concerned as mine, and you don't have the same amount of beads in your stash and or in the kit that you buy, and the only thing that you have to do is just add some more seed beads, because there's only 2 things that did not come in the kit, in the Starcrust Lovers kit that I'm using, which are the seed beads and then this head pin. So if that's the case, if you want to do the same design as I am doing, then just add extra seed beads if you don't have as many of these barrel beads or these rectangle barrels or anything like that. So it's always something that you can just experiment with and see what works for you, what type of design you like and everything. So what I'll be using today is the garnet color of the wire that I unboxed earlier as well. This is the Miyuki seed beads. These are the matte color black. And if you're interested in Miyuki's number, it is number 401F, as in Frank. And then I'm using the rose spacer beads that came in the box, the black squared off or rectangle type barrels, and then I'm using the red barrels, which I have them separated because they're, again, like I said in the beginning, it looks like you can definitely tell a difference in this screen, at least, that there is a different lot of a lot number that was used to put this mixture together. That this one is a little bit more of a deeper garnet, and then this one is more of a lighter, lighter color red, which is perfectly fine, still works. But we'll use that to our advantage when we're doing our necklace. And then I have just 3 pinch beads left over from the kit, so I'm using those last 3 pinch beads. And then I'm using 2 of the crimp beads that came in the kit, and then also the lobster clasp that came in the kit. So to get started, I am leaving my wire on the spool. I have it already kind of laid out. I have a large amount already laid out, but I'm leaving it on the spool so that way I use up less wire that way. That was the last thing I needed to say before we actually do the pendant. So we're going to make our little rose first. Like I said, I only have 3 more of my pinch beads left over. So I'm going to use the rose and 1 of the pinch beads and then our head pin. All I'm going to do is just string on the head pin through the rose bead. And I like to use this one because it has a little ball at the end. It just gives it a little bit more of dimension. So if somebody sees the bottom of it, they'll see just a little black ball sitting there. And then I'm going to string on 1 of the pinch beads. Now I want my loop to go in this direction, so that way when it sits on the necklace that you'll see the rose sitting on the necklace in between beads. So I want my loop to go in that direction. So to make this work, trying to find my pliers, I want to pinch my pliers about in that fashion right there. Now I'm still kind of learning how to do all of this, so please bear with me if something does not work right. But I want to pinch my pliers right about there. What I'm going to do is bend over the wire over the pliers itself, which leaves a bend just like that. Then we're going to take our round nose pliers. We're going to take our put our pliers in there just a little bit so that way we can make a loop. Now to make a loop, this is where I always have problems holding my pliers, and this is why I'm still learning how to do these. So to make a loop, our wire is going away from us. We're going to wrap that wire around the round nose towards us until it comes back to the product itself. Now I'm going to loosen up on the pliers. I've loosened up and I'm not taking them out. I'm just switching from making that top jaw. Now is going to be the bottom jaw. Now I'm going to hold on to the wire one more time, and then I'm going to take this part of the wire and complete the circle towards the back. Now when you take it out, and now it looks like this. And you've got yourself a little loop. Now I'm going to go ahead and close up that loop. Hopefully this works out good just as well. Because this is where things kind of go awry for me, because I'm still learning how to do this. So I'm taking my chain nose pliers again, I'm just holding on to the loop, and now I'm going to take this wire and just wrap around the bar portion of that loop that we just created. See, these are not the best of loops around here. But like I said, I am still learning. I will become more proficient in this with practice, just like everything else. Okay, so I've gone around a couple of times, and some of that black coating on this head pin is now starting to come off, which that is okay too. We'll make that work to our advantage because it looks like it's almost brass underneath. Can you see that? And then our color of our flowers are going to be very similar to that color. So it's going to work out in the end, other than it's just making a mess on my bead mat. But it was just a head pin that I had in my stash. Did not get it from SoftFlex. Not sure where I got it from. Alright, so now we have that, excuse me, now we have that extra wire that we need to cut off. So we use our pliers and just make sure the flush side is up against your product, and then put that off to the side. And here comes my cat Cosmo. And then now we have a little pendant. And like I said, that little bit of gold that's sitting there can be used to our advantage. So we want the pendant to sit something like that. Yeah, my loops don't look all that great. But it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to get some of these black flecks off of here. Note to self, don't use those head pins if I don't want to make a mess. But I only have a couple left, so maybe that's the reason why I only have a couple left, because I've already used other ones. Alright, so now we're going to start on the necklace portion. I already have all my beads that I'm going to use laid out down below outside of the field of view, so I can kind of cheat a little bit. But what we're going to end up doing is just stringing straight onto our wire that we're using. I'm going to go ahead and start off with 3 seed beads. And these are Miyuki 11-Os. I think I said Miyuki earlier, but I believe I forgot to say that they are 11-Os. So we're going to put on 3 11-Os. Then we're going to start off with one of our lighter color of our red beryl beads. And then in between each bead we're just going to put 1. We're going to put 3 of these lighter colors on. And we're just going to put 1 seed bead in between each. There we go. Now I'm going to add a rose bead. And remember how I had said that the rose beads, there's a hole that goes in between the 2 petals, and then there's also a hole that goes in the center of a petal? I'm going to start by going in between the 2 petals. And then add another seed bead. Then I'm going to add my last 2 colors, my last 2 of my light red beryl beads. More of a cyan color, whereas the darker ones look more like they're garnet in color. Then a seed bead, then we're going to add another rose bead. Doing the same thing, I'm going to go through in between the petals and come out in the middle of the petal. This time we're going to add one of our black squared beads, or rectangle beads. Now we're going to add 2 of our red beryls, and now we're on to our darker beryls. And like I said, if you don't have the same amount of beads as I do, then you can always just add more seed beads in between the beads and just space it out a little bit more. Let me see, I'm right there. So now we're going to add one of our beryl beads, the black beryl beads. Seed beads in between each time. We're going to do another flower in between the petals, coming out the top of the petal. And then, yep, I'm down there, so we're going to add 2 more beryl beads of the red. Seed beads in between still. Don't forget the seed beads. Then on this side, we're going to add our last flower for this side of the necklace. Our last beryl bead, black one. And then the last red one, the red beryl. And then here's where your pinch beads come in. So don't forget to add another seed bead. Pick up one of your pinch beads, and now we're at the center of our necklace. So this is your pattern here. So if you need to pause it, pause the excuse me, pause the video so that way you can get your pattern down, then you can go ahead and do that right now. So I'll give it a couple of seconds to let you do that if you need to. So now all we're going to do is add our pendant, and then we're going to go opposite of what we just did. So we're going to add on the pendant, Again, this is going to kind of flop around at the moment. Meanwhile, this is all still on the spool. And don't forget to start with your pinch bead. And then all you're going to do is just add the same beads on this half, going in the opposite direction of what we just did. So go ahead and get that last part of your necklace strung on, and then I'll show you how to use your crimp beads and add on your clasp and finish up the necklace. Okay, so now that you have everything all strung on, the first thing you want to do before you start crimping off anything is make sure that your pattern is even, if that is your intention of your necklace. Now sometimes you can do something to where you have a focal more off here to this one side or the excuse me, one side or the other. That is completely up to you, but if you're looking for symmetry, then we want to do this. We want to make sure that we have the exact beads on this side of the necklace compared to that side of the necklace. So all you do is you just kind of go through and just make sure everything looks the same, looks right. When you're happy with the way it looks and the length that you like, there again, if you don't like the length that I have, which looks like it's probably going to be about a 17 or 18 inch, maybe a 16. I'm kind of guesstimating right now. I haven't measured it, so I'm guesstimating as what it's going to be. So somewhere between a 16 and an 18 inch. If that is too short for you, too long for you, you can always add beads, subtract beads. You can always add more seed beads on the end, because this part's going to be on your back, the back part of the person who's wearing it anyway. Whatever is more convenient for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on my crimp bead. We're going to finish this off. So I'm going to add on the crimp bead. I'm going to go ahead and put the lobster clasp on right away, straight onto the wire. So don't forget to add that. And then what we do is we go right back through that same crimp tube. And then leave yourself a little bit of room to kind of hold on to it. I probably leave a little bit more than what is actually needed, but there again, I'm still kind of learning how to do my crimps. And what I'm doing now is I'm pulling on the actual necklace itself to make it to where that lobster clasp is down closer, or the crimp tube is down closer to the lobster clasp. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Like that. Now we're going to use magical crimpers. And this has a little concavity in the center of the crimper that will help allow this crimp tube turn into more of a ball to make it look more like a bead, like you intended on having a bead sitting there. I'm going to give myself just a little bit more room of that loop, so the lobster clasp has a little bit more room of moving around. There we go. That was a little too close, I think. So to use the magical crimper, you want to position your crimp tube to where it's in the center of the crimper. So you have it kind of like that. You want to make sure it's in that center. And then once you have it in the center, which I think I lost it a little bit. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Once you have it in the center, you just squish down. And then that kind of flattens out your crimp a little bit. Now to make it more like a ball, you turn it 90 degrees and then put it in the center and squish down. Then you turn it a little bit more, put it in the center, squish down. And you continue to do this, just making sure, go slow if you have to, if you're learning like I am still. Just make sure that your crimp tube is in the middle of that concavity each time you do this. And then after a few times of doing this, of course I'm probably doing it a little bit more than I need to, but you'll kind of notice that there's no resistance with the crimp tube anymore. And when that's the case, that usually means that you're done with your ball of crimp. So still kind of going just a little bit more, because I think I'm almost to that point. of being done with it. Might just do it a few more times. A little bit of a perfectionist. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Okay. And I still think I didn't leave enough room at the end. I can probably leave a little bit more room for that lobster clasp to move around. Still able to move, but it kind of gets caught up every once in a while. So you probably want to leave just a little bit more room. And then now your crimp is on there. And if you tug on it a little bit and everything, give it a little tug test, then it looks to be good. So now I'm going to go ahead, just because I'm still new at this, when you master the magical crimper, you don't have to go back through a bead. And I don't think it's going to work anyway. Yeah, it's not going to go back through that 11-0. But when you master the magical crimper, you don't have to go back through beads. All you have to do is just pretty much just cut off the excess amount of wire. And then after you do that, why is it not cutting? There we go. After you do that, then you have your lobster clasp on. So now, all you have to do, since you're still on the spool, is just move everything down. Just squish it down to the other side. And then I learned this from another YouTuber, that I roll my necklace up like that. That way it gives a little bit of leeway for your beads to move around some. And then we just need to cut off a certain amount to be able to hold on to. I use 2 or 3 finger lengths. Just depends on whatever's more comfortable for you to use. And with that, I'm going to create the loop with the wire as well for the other side. So we're going to put the crimp tube on the other side. And then I'm going to fold that over, go back through the crimp tube, and then I'm going to leave myself a little bit more of a loop sitting there. You can always use jump rings if you prefer. You can make yourself a loop and then put a jump ring on the end, whatever is more convenient and whatever your style is. So now all I'm doing is just making sure that the crimp tube is down close to the beads, the seed beads, but not too close to where you'll end up breaking a seed bead here in a second. You don't want to do that. So now center up your crimp tube again. Something like that. Make sure the seed beads are out of the way. And then smush down. And then turn your crimp and keep smushing until your crimp is done. And I have a little bit more of a space there than I would prefer, but that is okay. I'm still learning how to do these. I've had several of these crimp tubes or crimp beads come out really, really nice. And then there's still some that I'm kind of having some issues with. And I think it's just mainly I get excited sometimes when I get towards the end of making something. And so I may go a little too fast. So I'm trying to tell myself to slow down. And just take your time with it and get your crimp tube to look right. And it's still kind of smushy. It's not really a ball. It still kind of looks a little wonky. Let's try moving it this way, and then yeah, that crimp could do a little bit better. So that's not my best crimp. But it's still on there. It still works. Still learning. Still tugging. Still is not going anywhere. So you're sitting there. So now all you have to do is cut off this excess. And once you do that, of your wire, you now have a completed necklace. with a cute little rose charm at the end. So there is my necklace for my earrings that I had made off camera from the SoftFlex, I forgot what it was called. Why did I forget that? The Star-Crossed Lovers design kit. So here's the necklace portion of it, and then the earrings that I had made off camera. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, so that way if you like what you're seeing, you can hit that button, and if you would like to see more of what I am unboxing, what I'm making, with all different types of materials and everything, go ahead and hit that subscribe, and that way you'll be part of the group and you'll know when I'm releasing new videos. So again, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!